Hello, everybody, and today what we're going to be doing is predicting Money in the Bank 2024 in Toronto, Canada. Currently, there are 5 matches that have been announced for this show, which is looking to be a pretty good show with who's on it and what's going to be happening on the show. We have both men's world champions, both Money in the Bank ladder matches. Sure to be an exciting one, but today what I'm going to be going through is every single match and who I think the victors will be. There are, as I said, 5 matches, and they are the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, IC champ Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes, world champion, versus the new Bloodline in a 6-man tag. For some reason, one of them just isn't wrestling. And in the presumable main event, you can take a guess, is Damien Priest versus Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, a lot of these matches are pretty random on who is going to win. Like, we don't really know for the men's Money in the Bank. There's a solid 3 people to pick from for women's Money in the Bank. The main event is very questionable with who's going to win, but the other 2, I think, are pretty locked in, but we're going to get to those in due time. We're going to start with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which features Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, Zoe Stark, Io Sky, Chelsea Green, and Naomi. This is an interesting 6 because there are some in here that you're just like, okay, they're not winning. Pretty simple. Io Sky is not winning. She already won it. She's been women's world champion. She's already just mad at the rest of Damage Control. And that's how her whole character has been over the course of the past couple of months. It's she doesn't like one of the members of Damage Control, kicks them out, then has a match with them, and probably is going to lose to Dakota Kai because that's who's next on the list. Probably soon followed by Kairi Sane. But nonetheless, she's not winning here. Lyra Valkyria, yes, she did have that exciting run in King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, really. And, she was going all the way until the finals, and of course got beaten to hell by Nia Jax. I did review that as well. But I don't think she has enough of a character yet on the main roster to really flesh out her winning Money in the Bank. And we've seen people with not incredible characters win big things. Like, Santino Marella won the IC title on his first day ever. So, that's not surprising. But at the same time, like, I would like to see more of a character before you get her into those, world title scenes, Money in the Bank scenes. You get the gist of it. And that leaves 3 more. Naomi, Chelsea Green, and Tiffany Stratton. Oh, and Zoe Stark just isn't winning. I didn't mention that, but you knew what I meant. Anyways, Tiffany, Chelsea, and Naomi. Now, I personally think it's going to be between Tiffany and Chelsea. I don't think Naomi's going to win. I think she's going to just stay very solidly in the top women's ranks. She's going to be top of the women's division on SmackDown, just never winning the title. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of men's division individuals like that too. Like Finn Balor is always going to be up in that top echelon, or right now the tag echelon, but he's never winning a world title. He's only winning those tag team titles. He's not winning anything else. But I think that's what Naomi's going to be on the SmackDown roster. She's just going to be a top women's not champion. And then on the other side of things, we have Tiffany and Chelsea, who I think need to be champions soon. I don't think Tiffany's going to win it yet. I think you got to wait a few more months for that. You could argue her doing the cash-in thing, yes. But I think personally it is better for Chelsea to win this. She has a better character, a lot more experience, better promos especially. And I think her winning the title is going to be a much more exciting thing than Tiffany winning the belt. And I like both of them pretty equally. But I think Chelsea, as a heel champion, can pull kind of a JBL with her world title run. Because if you remember, JBL kind of barely won his title matches. For example, he won a match with the Big Show by getting chokeslammed through the ring and beaten up so much that he just had to crawl out. And that's how he won the match, because he escaped the cage. And at the same time, I think Chelsea can do a version of that actually works for her character, because that is exactly what her character is. Now, should she get some definitive wins if she becomes champion? Yes. But still, I'm going a little too far into this. The point is, Chelsea Green wins women's Money in the Bank. Move on to the men's match, which features LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Jey Uso, and Chad Gable vying for the briefcase. This is a bit of another interesting one. There's only 2 people that I can see winning this, but if you think about interference, this is a pretty easy shout. So we have Chad. Who's he feuding with? Well, he's not really feuding with anybody, but the Wyatt Six have been beating him up a lot. So he's out, because the Wyatt Six are going to beat him up. Okay, LA Knight. Who's he feuding with? Logan Paul. Okay, and Carmelo Hayes at the same time. So, okay, they're going to beat him up. Drew McIntyre. Who's he feuding with? CM Punk. Okay, now he's going to get beaten up. Now, Carmelo Hayes, Logan Paul again, and LA Knight. He's going to get beaten up. That leaves Andrade and Jey Uso. Who do you think out of those 2 individuals is going to win? I like Andrade. He's the speed champion. But he's not winning Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. I really want to like Andrade, and his matches are incredible. But he just... The only character I've seen him exude is from his backstage segments, where it's I am Andrade, and this is what I do. And he's wearing the mask, and it's like really smoky, and Andrade coming next week. Those are the only times I get any aura from him. Like in the ring, great, but still, no promo skill. For some reason, I just don't click with it, and it doesn't work for me. But I do see Jey Uso winning this. I know it's the obvious pick, but I do think he kind of needs to win it because he's been just floundering. He's been losing a lot of his matches recently. This is the time for him to pick up that big win. Now, you could see the Bloodline come in, beat him up, and then stop him from winning. And then, if that is the case, Carmelo, I guess. But I don't think it's going to be Andrade. I'm sorry, but Jey Uso for the win here. Then we move on to the IC title match between Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker. This should be a squash. It should be a squash. It should be Sami enters the ring. Bron enters the ring. Bell rings. Ding, ding, ding. Sami charges at Bron. Spear. You could argue the match ending right there. I would like that. I think that would actually work really well. But I think Bron makes it last a little longer. Sami gets a few moments in. Like, he's able to hit, like, the Blue Thunder Bomb, and he tries a haluva kick. But he misses both of those, gets speared like 8,000 times, and loses the title. This should be an easy win. It should be under, like, 3 minutes. I don't think this match should be shorter than the point you are at in this video. That's how short this match should be. Bron should beat the hell out of him and then just win the IC title. Get a ton of heat and then make Sami seem more like an underdog, but still kind of protect him if he gets really, really, really beaten up, because Bron is a scary dude, and really overpush Bron because he's looking great coming into this after abusing Sami Zayn, who beat Gunther of all people, and just yanking that title away from him so quickly. But that is the best way to book this in my eyes. I do not think this should be competitive in the slightest. I think it should follow the same formula as basically every squash match, no demand. But there's one I watched recently. It was from AEW Forbidden Door. I didn't review that one. I am sorry. I was still on vacation. But it was Serpentico versus Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher. They look the same. Kyle Fletcher, Serpentico. Match started. Kyle Fletcher looked good. Boom, 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 boom. Serpentico just came back randomly. He hit a few moves, hit a few flippy moves, threw him into the corner. Oh, Serpentico's coming out. Kyle hit every other move in his arsenal, finished him off with whatever his finisher's called, and won the match. Very simple process, and that is exactly how this match should go. As I said, I don't think this should be really much of a match. I think it should be very quick, very easy, and just let that Kyle Fletcher match be the formula for this one. Very easy, very simple. Go Bron. Anyways, we move on to the New Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. I think the New Bloodline kind of has to win this match. They aren't feeling really that believable at the moment, and now that Zilla Fatu is here, Jacob Fatu. I'm getting all of them mixed up. There's like 8,000 of them. Please give me a break. Anyways, Jacob Fatu's here. He's making the group look a lot better. They beat up Paul Heyman on SmackDown. That was awesome. But at the same time, I do want to see them get a statement win so that we can take them more credibly as a threat. And it does seem like they're setting up Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title over at SummerSlam. So Cody could get pinned in this match. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't think it will happen because I think they're going to realize that literally nobody wants Cody versus Solo at SummerSlam. So what I think is going to happen is what one person on Twitter said, and I thought it was cool. So Randy Orton just turns on Cody Rhodes because he's obviously been eyeing that title, turns on Kevin Owens, and that allows Solo to pin Cody, but it's not going to set up a SummerSlam match between Solo and Cody. It's going to set up Cody-Randy, but Randy's not going to be associated with the Bloodline. He'll give them all RKOs after as well. But the Bloodline will win this match. It's not going to be like a chicanery. Roman or Rock or Jimmy, I don't think any of them are going to come out. You could argue maybe Jimmy, but I'm going to keep it very plain, very simple. New Bloodline win. Goodness gracious. I play Apex Legends. I get them confused all the time. And in the main event, Seth Rollins versus Damien Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. This one is questionable because Seth is having his first match back from his long absence and injury. And Damien kind of isn't very credible as world champion. So do you have Damien win and, get him much higher in the overness level, have him look more credible? He's beaten the former world heavyweight champion, but at the same time, you sacrifice, Seth. He's his first match back. You have him lose. Like, what is that building to? Or do you have Seth win, get that title back, first match back, first title win back, he's a world champion once again. But then at the same time, Damien just kind of get clowned on. How do you do this? I think, in my opinion, Damien Priest is going to win this match, and then Finn Balor somehow is going to have a match with him later on down the line as World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I don't think it's going to be on a pay-per-view because you have to set up SummerSlam, Damien versus Gunther, But at the same time, I think you have to also keep in mind that Finn and Damien are obviously going to turn on each other at some point. Finn's probably going to be the babyface, it looks like. And I think you set up a world title match maybe on a special episode of TV, or if somehow Damien wins at SummerSlam, you keep it going on to whatever the next pay-per-view is, which is, I think, Bash in Berlin, which makes zero sense, because then you have to have Ilya versus Gunther at Bash in Berlin. At the same time, the point is, even through all this confusing mess, that Damian Priest wins this, because do you want Seth to be a transitional champion, just winning the belt and immediately losing it at SummerSlam? I don't. I don't think Seth is going to be that at all for the rest of his career. But my opinion is that Damian Priest is going to win this match, set up a bit of a feud with Finn Balor later down the line, and have some fun with it. So that's my predictions for the pay-per-view. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future episodes of this channel. And goodbye.